Hey, what's up, guys? Ash here. I wanted to revisit Bianca's Black Mage for many reasons. One, this was my second video ever, so I was on different software then. My editing just sucked. My audio sucked. I'm not saying it's better, but it's better than what it was. Okay. On top of that, the old video had the didn't have the additional ability slot, so it didn't include that into the mastery board. On top of that, new win masteries have been released, and of course, with that comes new win mastery sets. And then on top of that, the build that I'm going to present to you guys today is more in line with kind of how I want to showcase BB. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. All right, guys, so we are on 50 Violent. And so BB's Black Mage plays the class or role of Mage Assassin in the party. It's very common for her to be flanking and kind of out in the weeds, similar to how at least I play Albus. But where Albus is more physical, obviously Bianca is more magical. It's also similar to Scion, except for Scion does a lot more area damage, and Bianca is very much single target focused. She does have Wind Explosion, which can do massive amounts of area damage, but that's only during overcharge and very specific events. But what's really neat here is you guys see I just got my action point back, and that's from Magic Stamp. And I'm going to pause it a little bit further up here. But one of the specialties of a Wind ESP user is one, high mobility, but also two, high SP generation. Breeze alone will give her bonus SP just for using or attacking targets, which is great. So you really want her to be able to do that. So if you notice right here, she just triggered Magic Stamp, and what that's going to do is allow one free cast with kind of no repercussions. So right after this illusion here, I'm going to attack the Scoundrel, and he's going to block. Now, normally, if this was one shot, one kill, my turn would be over. But because of Magic Stamp, it just counts as the one cast, and so it can continue on. This leads to some pretty amazing things, and previously she could do this using improved Magic Stamp, but now she doesn't even need that ability anymore to get that, and that's what we're gonna kind of highlight today. Okay, let's hop into the abilities. So, of course, her basic ability is Twister Bullet, and this is going to be very important because this is going to be her primary attack for sure on the new Turbulence build. So, you do get a bonus damage increase to target an exposed state, so that's important to remember as you're going around fighting. And a lot of basic abilities don't have stuff like this, so just good to know. For Windwalk, this is not only just going to be that extra mobility that Wind ESP users have, right? But if you guys notice in this video, it's also going to count as kind of like a first strike. So even though these mobs were alerted, they're only going to be able to take cover there in their immediate position. They're not going to be able to move and take cover, in like a bush or something. So this definitely has more than just the single use of mobility. We're also going to be taking Wind Veil. Wind Veil is awesome. The primary thing I think that it gives is that it gives you immunity to delaying action time on ranged attacks. So any suppression attacks from snipers or crons or what have you will not give you any kind of AT delay. On top of that, it'll give enemies reduced hit chance by 20% for melee attacks, which is great. Gives a ton of stats, which is really cool. More importantly, I did not recommend this previously because it consumed all action points. If you see there down at the bottom. Same thing with Illusion. It does consume all action points, and that's going to filter into the build very well in a little bit here. But so for Illusion's a very interesting ability. One, note the massive cooldown. 9 turns is pretty crazy, pretty high cast delay. And basically, you're going to be able to cast an illusion on a non-machine character, and you'll have two choices. One will be Rage, which will act as kind of like a weird reverse recognition disturbance that Kylie has. Both enemies and you will be an enemy to the target. So there's a chance that enemies will target them if the threat's high enough, that kind of thing. I don't like leaving that up to chance, so I actually use Illusion of Mutation more. This is actually going to be very similar to freezing. They won't be able to take an action next turn. They won't be able to dodge. They won't be able to block. So this is just a great ability. Just has a slightly higher cooldown. For overcharge abilities, we're going to be taking Wind Explosion and Twister Arrow. Twister Arrow is great. This is going to be your single target boss killer. It's also going to be her highest range. And on top of that, the farther the range is, the more damage it's going to do. It's going to increase by 10% for each individual tile. On top of that, 50% hit chance increase is insanity. This is great for, like, you know, thieves like Brad or, you know, Shandian or something that are hiding in a bush. It'll completely catch up with what, you know, would normally be like a 44% chance to hit. You know, you should basically be able to hit with it. Wind Explosion, we're actually going to take Wind Explosion over Twister Dance for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to act as your secondary movement besides Wind Walk. Obviously, this is more, I don't want to say emergency related, but situational. You know, you can't just fire off Wind Explosion all the time like Twister Bullet, or like Wind Walk and, well, yeah, and Twister Bullet. On top of that, should you not kill your target, it's going to increase the target's AT by 100. So Bianca will get up before them, you know, assuming no weird variables like comradeship or something like that, which is pretty darn cool. And I've used this to kind of like AT lock bosses before. It also gives a slight chance for stun. You know, it's not usually useful, or you don't really notice it. But more importantly, it's going to give 100% for a target in exposed state, and that's really big because when you're running around on BB, and you know you're running off these one-shot, one-kills that are only refunding the one action point, Twister Dance is pretty good. It gives that same 100% bonus, except for it's only in still stance, so you don't get to see that bonus come up as much on BB as you would on Wind Explosion. So this is definitely going to be her primary area damage and kind of backup emergency ability. I really love it. And this is definitely my favorite ability to use for sure. Alright guys, and I am proud to present Turbulence 2.0. Of course, feel free to pause at any time and copy down, take a look, see what you threw out, see what you would keep. But I think you guys will be very interested to see this showcase, as it's pretty unorthodox. So for core offensive masteries, we are of course going to take Forbidden Magic Book. This is the oomph behind Black Mage. This should be included in every Black Mage build as far as I'm concerned. It's going to have the ever staple one shot, one kill. Always important to refund that action point from a single hit kill. And then what's changed is Great Valley Wind. That's going to be our other core offensive mastery. So you guys will be able to get Valley Wind from Albino Crabmits. And these guys appear in the 50 scenario as well as the 52 violent. And if you get them up to class level 16, you know, it'll give you Valley Wind. And so what Valley Wind is going to do is it's going to give you Magic Stamp. And Magic Stamp, after every 7 uses, Magic Stamp is going to allow an ESP ability to require no action point. Great Valley Wind, the mastery set, is going to lower that down to 5. And this is going to be the core premise of this build. We're going to be trying to use as many wind abilities as humanly possible. And for our core defensive masteries, we are going to be taking the staple Second Wind. Second Wind is just awesome. It's going to give you regeneration when you're low on health. It's going to heal you directly if you get under 33%. It's going to do a massive melee damage reduction. It's also going to reduce tons of shooting, fall, and throw attack abilities with Wind Wall. So second Wind alone was great and was included in the original Turbulence build. This time, however, we're going to be adding in Circulatory system. This is for a couple of reasons. One, they all share Wind Road, which is great to include Great Valley Wind. But they're also both sharing Headwind, which is going to reduce your damage per tile, which is amazing against ranged attackers. On top of that, you're going to have Windless Land, which is going to increase your block chance by a total of 35%, which is pretty crazy. And then, of course, one of the newer Wind Masteries, you're going to get Seasonal Wind. This has changed many times since it first came out, and BB can actually use it pretty effectively versus Albus on Great Swordsman, since her standard ability is Wind Attacks. When she covers, she'll be able to recover action time for the most part, which is pretty cool. Love that. But I have a showcase of just how insane Second Wind and Circulatory system is. Okay, so we're on 50 Violent, and as you can see, this sniper is crouching and about to pop BB in the head. BB is already really low health. She's only got 431, and it's not looking good. So we're going to do our first Jeopardy ever. I think I tried to do this previously before, but I think it's just, I don't know, it's something fun to do. So do you guys think that this attack by this sniper is going to do A, 80 damage, B, 8 damage, C, 800 damage, or D, 8,000 because it's BB and BB is the squishiest character in this freaking game? And to give you guys a hint, it's going to be a regular hit. It's not going to be a critical. It's not going to be a block, just a regular hit. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to think on that. So if you said A, you're wrong. If you said D, that's mean. Don't do that. If you said C, you're also wrong. If you said 8, you would be correct. And that's just how insane Circulatory, along with Second Wind, really is. This is BB, guys. And if you guys have played any amount of BB, you know that something like this is just not even realistic. That's how good these defenses are. Right here we have Freezing Kron, and he's unleashing a grenade payload. BB only has 484 life, and she blocked one and got regular hit for another for a grand total of 150 damage. Of course, that's kind of silly too. So for sure, range damage is a total joke now for BB, and that's great to see because she really needed it. And now even melee damage is actually quite high. So this is Way hits like a bus. BB's only got 1,043 life right here, and this is where you're really going to see kind of Second Wind come into play with Haze. So normally, with foot in air, this is doom for BB. Most BBs would never even come close to living this. And so he lands a critical hit, 541. I don't think I've ever seen Wade do a critical for 541. Maybe a blocked hit on Irene for 541, but certainly not a critical. So for sure, this should be a takeaway that BB's defenses are very good with this. All right, and that leads us into the core support masteries. So we'll be taking Magical Accelerator. Magical Accelerator is an amazing ability. It's going to shred cast delay by 50%, which is awesome. Also, Magic Acceleration is going to reduce AT by 10. This is particularly cool during a cover where you're also stacking this with Seasonal Wind. The short version is if Bianca covers, you're going to see her turn jump pretty fast over towards her, especially if you've been going around the map previously killing tons of stuff. Additionally, the magical reactor is going to reduce all cooldowns of abilities by 1, and as you'll see in the showcase, this is going to have a major impact on the Turbulence build. We're also going to be taking Bloodwind. Bloodwind is great. Bloodwind actually serves as kind of a Roar of Victory, but in magical form, and it's also going to be an AT decrease. So, like let's say you fire off Wind Explosion. Well, at 50% cooldown for Magical Accelerator, you're now at 30 cast delay, and that's exactly what it's going to give back. So even on your strongest abilities, Bloodwind will have you covered. BB will basically sit at 36 AT or lower for the majority of the time. On top of that, Bloodwind also has really great synergy with Great Valley Wind. They both use Windblade, as you can see here. They both use Strong Wind. So, it has that synergy that Circulatory and Second Wind have with Wind Road and Headwind. So that's really great to see. On top of all that, so, notice there's quite a few Wind ESPs, and I think I counted about 16 or so. All of this, of course, is still feeding into Black Mage's class mastery, Black Magic Circuit, which would be critical hit chance by 2%, and then critical hit damage by 10% per ESP power. So obviously at 16, this is going to give 32% critical hit chance and 160% critical hit damage. All this stacking. Even the smaller things like, Investigative Origin decreasing damage taken by ESP power for the Mastery Set bonus. Origin of Magic increasing damage done by ESP powers. All of this really gels very well. And it's giving you kind of the whole package of offense, defense, and support. And then finally, we have Catharsis. Like I mentioned, this is going to be all about the cooldown reduction once you guys see the build in action. And then the very last thing that I consider core support here will be Wind Witch. And Wind Witch does a million different things. You'll most commonly find it on a Witch build because it actually has a mastery set and all that jazz. But so for Wind Explosion, you're going to have even more damage to exposed state targets. So, it's just Wind Explosion is so nuts, man, and it's so good to use. And for that same exact reason earlier that I mentioned, Twister Dance under Still Stance, she's just not always going to be under Still Stance. So I've just found much better use with Wind Explosion, that and the mobility. Twister Arrow is now going to increase damage by distance, increase by 10, and it was already at 10 per tile. So that's insane. For what we're using, Windwalk will increase its move, which is pretty good. Twister Bullet is going to increase your attack range of the ability by 1. But most importantly for this build, Wind Veil and Illusion are going to remove an action point when using them. So normally, like I showed you guys earlier, Wind Veil consumes all action points and Illusion consumes all action points. This is going to bring you down to single action, which is pretty good. Not bad, right? We're then going to change her personal mastery to Witch of Small Room. This is going to reduce an action point again on just ESP support abilities. This is also going to reduce the cooldown of all those ESP support abilities. Now, if you remember earlier, I said we'd be using only wind abilities, which Windwalk, Wind Veil, and Illusion all are, and we'd only be using support abilities, and that's because of Witch of Small Room combined with Wind Witch. So now, Wind Veil has no action point used, meaning, just cast it whenever you feel like it. And Illusion also has no action point used. On top of that, look at their cooldowns. They're going from 9 to 7 because of Reactor and Witch of Small Room. Wind Veil is now going from 3 to 1 because of Wind Witch and Witch of Small Room. And then Windwalk is going down, I think, from 5 to 3. Alright guys, and now I am happy to present the Turbulence 2.0 showcase. So we're gonna go ahead and load up on buffs, magic acceleration, wind veil there, and then we're gonna wind walk in. Like I showed before, this is going to count as kind of an ambush, so they'll be able to cover where they are, but they won't be able to move. Now, I'm going to go ahead and illusion this gangster, because they tend to have higher block than usual, and then just start cutting them down. Now, what's different than what you would normally see here is, one, this is Bloodwind in action. I'm already in overcharge. You know, you can see that Bloodwind is keeping her AT at the minimum, which is totally awesome. Two, Bloodwind is acting as kind of a pseudo Roar Victory, right? So she killed two mobs, and she's already in overcharge. Now, Windwalk and Windveil are also activating that. On top of that, notice how fast Windveil is up, and because Windveil is up so often and takes no action points now, I have Great Valley Wind proccing. So next kill, I'm going to get my action point back, basically, and be able to move up. And so, you know, you get another kill, guess what? Windveil's back up again, cast it again. Now it's even free vigor. You know, we're in overcharge, so it doesn't even matter. Windwalk is up at this point, but I'd like to clear out this last part before moving on. So we're going to go ahead and kill this guy. And so this is where it's going to start getting really good. So Windveil again, you can see it triggered a Magic Valley right there. Wind Valley, excuse me. We're going to Windwalk over. And so there's a lot of mobs here. I kind of want to take out a Thod, because if he gets off any responsives, obviously it's going to be pretty bad. So this is where things get really interesting. BB's going to make her volleyball jump. And right when she makes her jump, this guy's going to get his close suppressive fire off. That is going to miss completely. That's fine. No big deal. Freezing Kron is then going to fire. Now, he actually does hit for a grand total of 24 damage. That got blocked. Now, keep in mind, Freezing Kron also does AT delay. Windveil is blocking that. Or he does suppression, basically. From there, the sniper is going to hit over here for, you know, supporting all of them. That hits for 128. So BB takes like maybe 150 damage, kills a Thod, and you know, it's just like that's you're seeing her defense in action. If you didn't see it earlier, and so this is just repeating in that, you know, Windveil comes up, it's lowering her cooldown for Great Valley Wind. Now Illusion is back up. Guess what? We're going to use it on the highest defense character probably in the game, or highest block character in the game. And what would normally be Zhao Zai's, you know, 100 to 150% block is now 0. And he's just a cute penguin. And now he's a dead cute penguin. So, you know, and then Magic Stamp is back up again. So this, you know, working into Windveil and just, you know, replicating it, it's just crazy. And it's giving BB so much power to do whatever she wants. And that's it for the video, guys. Man, the showcase really brings everything together. I don't think I've seen or done a showcase that really shows everything all at the same time, and that's what I really try to do or strive to do, but it doesn't, you know, sometimes it just doesn't always work out that way. Special thanks to my streamer Nails Painted Brown. Nails came up with the original concept idea, and then I started adding defenses, and then we worked on it together as like a collaboration effort. This is such a cool idea and a perfect replacement for Turbulence. Oh, it was such a fun video. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Lets me know I'm doing a good job. Follow me on Twitch, and until next time.